Yes.
That's a disaster, but
Good evening, welcome to Soni Irabor Live, and I'm very proud to say that this is the first time in not too long that we're having a man at the highest level of African leadership on Soni Irabor Live. But I'm proud to also say that this is the 6th African leader of the highest level we've had in the entire career of Soni Irabor Live, the entire history of Soni Irabor Live. And I'm glad to welcome the Deputy Prime Minister of Lesotho. Now, Lesotho is a kingdom and is landlocked by South Africa, and is also is referred to as this, did I say a city? A country. It is a country in the skies. In fact, when I hear that introduction, I feel very happy about it when I consider the fact that Lagos, which is the commercial capital of Nigeria, is maybe about 100 feet above sea level at the best, at the highest, and maybe at 10 feet above sea level at the lowest. So you can imagine what I'm talking about. When the man and leader from a country in the skies comes down to our level and comes to Soni Irabor Live, it's a great honor, Your Excellency, to come on the show. And I'm talking of His Excellency, Mr. Monyane Moleleki. Did I get that, Your Excellency?
Correct. Well, the pleasure is mine, Soni. I am delighted and honored to have been invited to your show. And I would like to, first of all, make 2 observations.
Okay.
You have said that we are landlocked by South Africa. But the actual point is that we are not just landlocked, we are South Africa locked, so to speak, because we are surrounded by them through 360 degrees in all directions, whichever way you go from our kingdom, and we are a kingdom, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Whichever way you go, you will end up in South Africa. So we are not just a landlocked country, we are a South Africa locked country. That is the one observation. And the second observation I would like to do and share with your viewers is the fact that we have a record in the Guinness Book of Records. One record which will never change.
And that's the only country that is...
No, not only that, not only in that sense,
Okay.
but more importantly in the sense that we have the highest, lowest point in the whole world.
The highest, lowest point in the
Correct,
whole world. In my
correct.
introduction, I said Nigeria was about 100 feet. Well, Lagos.
Above sea level.
Above sea level,
yes.
and 10 feet at
Yeah,
the lowest.
there are some
Oh my
countries which have a lowest point at minus 400 meters below sea level. If you
That
go
would
to
be-
Jordan, if you go to places like Jericho, from Jerusalem, you go down to minus
Zero level.
400 degrees, not degrees, but meters below sea level.
Whoa.
That is the lowest point there. If you go to Holland, it's some 20 meters below sea level.
I know about Amsterdam. That's
So Lagos is above sea level. Even if it were only 10 meters above sea level, it's still higher than sea level. But our country has the lowest point, which is more than 1.5 kilometers above sea level. So that's why we hold this record of being the country with the highest, lowest point, and it won't change.
Is there snow there by any way?
We
By
do
any
have
chance?
snow, yes. Every winter
snow is so
we
high.
have snow. It piles up to 2 meters high because of two things. The one factor is the latitude,
Yes.
the distance from the equator,
Yes.
south of the equator.
Right.
We are nearer South Pole than we are to the equator. That
yes.
is one factor.
That's fine.
The second factor is about the height above sea
Altitude.
level, because the higher you go, the cooler
it becomes.
the air becomes. So those two factors give us snow every winter. So if you want to see snow in Africa,
Come to
come to the
Lesotho.
kingdom in the sky. We are called not a country in the sky, because we are a kingdom. We are referred fondly to by our friends, and I would like our Nigerian viewers and friends, brothers and sisters, to refer to us fondly as the kingdom in the sky.
skies. Oh, wow. The kingdom in the sky. Population is 2.233 or 2.4, something like that.
That is correct.
Okay. And the ethnic group is Lesotho,
That's correct.
99.7%. So you don't have problems with struggling for representing the interest of this group or that group.
Not at all.
Okay.
We do have some minority groups in the extremities in the north of the country, as well as in the south, who speak languages that not everybody understands.
But you
But
accommodate
they understand
What you speak.
what we speak. So there's
Okay.
no linguistic
The currency is Loti.
Loti.
But if you are so surrounded by South Africa, then Rand must be playing its own infiltrative. Is it
Our
collective
currency,
roles or infiltrative? Which one?
our country, our currency is tagged to the South African currency. It's
Okay.
always equated to the South African currency, so that we use both currencies in my country. And in towns and cities immediately next to our border or around Lesotho, inside South Africa, they use our currency as well, because we are interrelated. There's nothing you can do about us.
I don't want to ask why you decided to keep that kingdom
No, it's
very
it's
separate
it's
from.
very relevant. It would be a very relevant question to
So
ask.
why?
This is how.
Okay.
When the white European settlers appeared on not our shores, but in Southern Africa, they were in a minority. They were not as powerful militarily as they later became. They were very weak, and they had 4 provinces, two of which were governed by people of Dutch origin,
The Boers?
the Boers.
Boers.
The Boers. People of Dutch extraction and French extraction.
Okay.
And then 2 provinces were governed by people of British English extraction. And because of their insecurity, they decided, after having wars between themselves and sometimes with us, we actually prosecuted wars of resistance against the white settlers for more than 30 years. And they couldn't subjugate us because they were not so powerful. Later on, after forming a union around us, then they became powerful. So in the year 1913, in the last century, they saw the wisdom of forming what they called the Union of South Africa. And they invited the Kingdom of Lesotho to join the Union, and we were agreeable to forming the Union, providing no one considered us as a second-class citizen. And that's where we parted ways, because they insisted, and we said, well, and they threatened war. They threatened to come and take us into the Union by force, to cede our territory. And we invited them and said, please yourself, you're welcome. And since they were still so fragile and weak, they decided to, to leave us alone. So it's a very useful question to
I
ask.
love the history behind that because, I mean,
Yes,
I
sir.
always wondered, why would you have a country that's so landlocked, and now you say South Africa locked? It's an interesting,
Yes.
reference. Okay, now let's look at the economy before we go into the African Union.
Okay, all right.
The economy is interesting. From research that we did about yours, you said it's mostly agricultural, livestock, manufacturing, mining, and of course, again, they hinted there that there's dependence largely on inflow of workers, remittances from other parts.
That's right.
So
We have
let's
a
start
very
with the workers'
okay.
remittance before we go to.
All right. There is a very interesting history to that because
Yeah.
when the Europeans of French and Dutch and English extraction ancestry embarked upon the process of industrializing South Africa over and above the agricultural land which they had stolen from us, and over and above the mineral wealth that they found in the country. When they decided to industrialize, they deliberately, by design, decided to leave Lesotho unindustrialized so that we would be forced to go and work as migrant, cheaper labor on the mines and in the industries and agriculture in South Africa. Therefore, this thing about us depending upon, that is a fallacy. We are not dependent. Now that we have gained our independence, in fact, we are advantaged because we are strategically placed in the center of the Republic of South Africa. And we have a far more educated population,
Okay.
because we invested on our young population. Our literacy rate, there was a time when the literacy rate in Lesotho was the highest in the entire African continent, including South Africa. For a long time, Lesotho had a monopoly of actually providing free and compulsory primary education for our youth right the way to university, which South Africa didn't do for a long time, even after its liberation.
Okay, we'll just take a short break and be right back.
Make your event a memorable one with captivating and well-organized event center at Lagos Television's prestigious Blue Roof, with a capacity of more than 3,000 seats and a fully air-conditioned 750 seats combo hall capacity, suitable for annual general meetings, government functions, exhibitions, religious activities, wedding ceremonies, burials, musical show, and many more in a well-secure environment. Spacious car park, uninterrupted power supply, and impeccable facilities. Take advantage of all of these at affordable rates.
For inquiries, please call 0808-252-8742 or 0802-282-9898.
Lagos Television Event Center, a tasteful event center for your delight.
Yes, we're with a rare guest, the Deputy Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Lesotho, which is the country in the sky. Now, I mean, when I hear that, I think I will be wanting to visit this country in the sky, except that I'm a bit afraid of height. I don't want to recount the experience in Rwanda, but this is, right, we were talking about economy. Agriculture, livestock, manufacturing, mining. Then you now talked about the large inflow of workers, remittances.
Correct.
Now, let's look at agriculture.
agriculture.
Do you export?
Yes, we do indeed. We export very high quality wool. Because of the cold, our wool is good quality, and because of the quality of grass, our wool is very long, very good quality, and we export it not only to South Africa, we export it overseas around the world. We produce more hair, and the quality of our mohair is the highest in the entire world.
I don't want to feign ignorance, but what's mohair?
Mohair is wool from goats.
Okay.
From goats. It's not referred to as wool. It's called mohair. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
I assume that everybody understood it. So those are our major exports. Now we are developing a very fast-growing agricultural pharmaceutical product called cannabis, medicinal.
Cannabis?
Not recreational. That is,
yes, I got
cannabis
that.
is
marijuana.
Marijuana, pot,
Yes.
grass. Some refer it to. We have both recreational and medicinal cannabis.
Okay.
And you know,
but this only became internationally acceptable, or has it always been there?
It's in the process of being accepted now, and a lot of licenses are being sought and given by the state. We are one of the first states on the African continent to officially and legally give licenses for medicinal cannabis for cure of specific ailments such as cancer and other maladies.
Okay. Now, let's go into the deep end called mining.
We don't have
your most important.
Yes,
of those.
we don't have as many minerals as the rest of our former land, which was taken away and seeded into today's South Africa, as they have. What we do have is very, very high quality gem diamonds as opposed to industrial diamonds. You know, diamond is the hardest naturally existing mineral.
Yes.
So it's used as bits for cutting instruments industrially. But our diamonds are quality gem diamonds. So in terms of quality, we produce those diamonds. They produce a lot of carats of diamonds in South Africa. Some of the largest stones ever found in the world were found in South Africa. But the Republic of Botswana produces a lot of diamonds as well. Namibia produces diamonds. Angola produces a lot of diamonds, many, many more than we produce in Lesotho. But the distinction of the diamonds, the gem diamonds of the Kingdom of Lesotho, is their quality, clarity, purity. To give you an example, Soni, in Lesotho, okay, let's start with the world average price for every carat of diamond that you dig and take out of the ground. The world average is $80 per carat. But in the Kingdom of Lesotho, the stones, jeweled diamonds that we produce will fetch upwards of $3,000
US
dollars for every carat. So what we lack in terms of quantity, we make up for in terms of quality of the stones we sell on the world market.
Lesotho can never be broke. You never borrow, do you?
We do borrow like everybody else. Every country in the world, every country, even the United States, borrows. Everybody borrows. We do borrow, but we have a very clean record of being a credit-worthy country. We never get forgiven debt. A lot of more powerful and bigger and larger economic countries in Africa are often forgiven debt, but there's never been a reason. We don't like it. We would like to be forgiven debt. You know, we shouldn't be beaten with a big stick for managing our debt well. But that's what the World Bank and the lending institutions around the world do to us. They don't reward us for managing our finances well. They will forgive other states, other countries, but never us.
You would prefer a level playing field,
Well,
some measure of fair play, right?
Fair play should involve us being rewarded
For being good.
for being responsible in how we manage our debt. But the fact of the matter is that the World Banks of this world, the IMFs of this world, and other banking institutions around the world will never forgive Lesotho its debt.
That's a very powerful point you just made.
Thank you.
Fantastic point. Let's go to the African continent, look at the goings on right now in Nigeria. In a few weeks, we'll be having elections. Congo just had its own, and in fact, they were forced, in quotes, to announce the results of the election because there was an imbroglio of sorts. How do you look at African nations and the recurring decimal of incomplete or very, difficult, election results and acceptances and all of that?
Well, let me start from this point, Soni, and say to you and your viewers that I am personally a very, very aggressive and jealous, Africanist. I am Afrocentric rather than any other way. And, we have adopted systems which were not traditional to the African person, African mentality. We are not understood, and I'm not trying to defend inefficiencies that we have, corruption here and there. It's all right, it's all very well, but the factor of the matter is that we didn't have this kind of democracy. Our democracy was different, and culturally, people don't understand. When missionaries first appeared on our shores and they saw an African man in my country carrying his battle axe, a spear, and a big stick and a knob kiri, and walking ahead of his wife, and his wife carrying all their belongings on her head, one child on her back, leading another child by the hand, and these missionaries and Europeans appeared in our land. They considered us barbaric. They couldn't understand why we cannot let the lady ahead of us and say, après vous, madame, before you, ma'am, or some such thing. The fact of the matter is that an African man was walking ahead of his family, exposing himself to the dangers of snakes and wild animals and enemies in protection of his family. And the woman had to carry the baby on the back, lead another baby by the arm, and carry their belongings on her head, not because he was abusing her. He was protecting them with his life. So this nonsense about us having to embrace all the tenets of the Westminster type of democracy, it's all very well. I'm a democratic man. My party in the Kingdom of Lesotho, of whom I am leader, is called the Alliance of Democrats, because we believe in democracy, but we should be understood culturally as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So, let me say about your great country, for which I have such great admiration and respect, is in the throes. It's about to have elections in the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
I must take advantage of this discussion with you, Soni,
Yes.
to wish the great, people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but the rest of Africa as well, the best of luck in this election. I hope you will have an acceptable, internationally credible, peaceful, and successful election. And success doesn't mean that we can all win. But I wish the great people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as I do the rest of Africa, the best of luck in the upcoming elections. But we are learning their systems, and it will not take, just 50 years or 60 years of independence, of a totally alien and new to us system. We had our own way of doing things. And our own way of sharing in the economy. People did things in groups together, not individualistically and selfishly. So, my brother, I wish Nigeria, I wish the Democratic Republic of Congo and the rest of our beloved continent the very best in their way, difficult, arduous route along the path to democracy.
Do you think there's any untoward interference in the way elections are held in Africa?
Yes, sir.
What do you think?
Yes, sir. You take the Democratic Republic of Congo, for example. There are people sitting outside there in the world, across the oceans and across the seas, who laugh at us when they see sons of Africa, West Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, North Africa, trying to find economic relief across the oceans in their continent. They forget that they have come to the African continent and grabbed and pilfered and stole, and they continue to pilfer today. If you go to the Congo, as a typical example, I have never seen such abject poverty. When I first visited the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I came back to my country, a few days later, my wife woke up in the middle of the night and found me sobbing helplessly like a child. And she wondered, why are you crying? Did you see a nightmare, darling? And I said to her, look, darling, I have never seen such abject poverty in a country which is by far the richest country on the planet Earth, because people are pilfering.
I didn't believe that when I heard that before.
I'm sorry.
No,
If I
feel your passion, sir.
Yes.
Because you just said it now, and reading from social media, seeing all of those things, especially those things they say they use in manufacturing mobile phones, even space rockets and all of that.
Exactly.
But we'll take a short break, and when we get back, we'll start from there and see how we conclude.
Thank you, sir.
The Lagos State government has assured homeowners using boreholes that it has not authorized any staff or agent to close down any borehole in the state. The general public is hereby advised to report any such person to the nearest police station or dial these toll-free lines 767 or 112. Ministry of Information and Strategy, announcer.
Right. So this is Soni Irabor Live. I'm feeling on top of the world, not at the height of Lesotho. I wouldn't like to you about that. But honestly, I have the Deputy Prime Minister of Lesotho is in the studio with Soni Irabor, live and direct. The last time I had a head of state was probably 2012 when we had the president of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame. And now I'm having another excellency here, so we're going to go continental. But there was an emotional situation just now where richest country in the world is also the poorest country, or one of the poorest in the world. Sad. Why do we have those countries like that? Venezuela, so much oil, they're in disarray.
Right.
There's so many other countries, even Nigeria, I'm sure if you read about Nigeria, you probably know that we have more than 250 different types of minerals that are so rich, can keep us rich forever and ever. But we don't know what to do with it.
And people will come and laugh at us, poke fun at us, and accuse us of corruption, when in fact there can never be corruption without two parties to that corruption. There is the corruptor and the corruptee. They accuse us and they laugh at us as African leaders and business leaders of being corrupt, when in fact there are corruptors who are never revealed. The corruptors. You know, when there is a bribe, there is a briber and a bribee. And they choose never to mention one of the two parties in the transaction. Yes. So this rubbish about us Africans being corrupt, oh no, it's one part of the story, and it's in discussions such as this that we should tell our children that be proud of yourself and learn hard, work hard, but don't let anybody put you down. Let nobody put us down, because they never mention the corruptor. They will only talk about the corruptee. Yes.
But respect for the rule of law, where Africans are accused of disrespecting the rule of law. What's your take on that?
You know, there will always be thugs and crooked people, but it is not Africans who are crooked. It is just people, human beings, without any reference to the color of their skin. It's not just Africans. A lot of people who don't respect the law have somebody pulling the strings who may not, and very often are not, African people, sir. Excuse me.
Okay. Now, before we go, just one last question. What does Lesotho have to offer Nigeria?
Well, we have good luck, good wishes to offer you. And one of the reasons I have come to your great country now was to do some benchmarking on a wonderful work being done by His Excellency Rochas Okorocha, Executive Governor of the state of Imo. I came to see the wonderful work of many, many schools, a foundation that he is running in his own state, a university that he has formed, several institutions of higher learning, because I myself, in a humbler way, because I don't have the wherewithal, the means, I have a small orphanage of just around over 100 orphans. So I wanted to come and look up this man who's doing a work on a much wider scale of well over 20,000 underprivileged children, not only from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but from Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea-Conakry, all over the African country. And his dream is to build this foundation to touch and have branches in all African countries. A noble son of your country, our contemporary, somebody that you should be very proud of. And I'm thankful that we have hit it off together so much that he has appointed me ambassador of his cause and foundation throughout the African continent.
Wow, that's so fantastic. And
so this is building linkages between you know, financially comfortable man and somebody with much more humbler means in Southern Africa, but forging linkages in support of good causes, because education is the way to go to unite the African people.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you so very much. And I wish you luck in this endeavor.
Thank you.
And of course, I also wish that the bridge between Lesotho and Nigeria will be solid, more solid.
Despite the great distance between
Yes.
our two countries, our hearts are beating as
Together.
one.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Yes. His Excellency, the Deputy Prime Minister of Lesotho, of the Kingdom of Lesotho, the country in the sky, or of the sky. In fact, I don't know how to put that, but his name is Monyane Moleleki. Monyane Moleleki has been my guest on Soni Irabor Live, and I'm so proud. Thank you, sir, and safe journey back.
My privilege. It's
Bye-bye
an
now.
honor. Thank you for having me.